Hey everyone, welcome to FinStop, a one-stop solution for all your finances. A quick disclaimer before we start, this is not a stock buy or sell recommendation. Please do your own research before investing. So today, the topic can be none other than Union Budget. This is first budget of Modi 3.0 government and the expectations were also very high. The budget was announced during the market hours today at around 11 am by our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. There are certain points which meets market expectations and certain unexpected regulations were also announced which turned the market sentiment negative. Let's discuss one by one. So this is key features of the budget 2024-25. This is published by the Government of India today. The budget was focused on Viksit Bharat and there were four major castes on which the budget was focused. There are Garibs or the poor. There are a lot of focus on women development. There are a lot of focus on youth development and farmer. So these are the four pillars we can say for any government or economy. So these are the priorities of Viksit Bharat. As per the market expectations, the capex investment was 11 lakh crore on the infrastructure, which is around 3.4% of GDP. 1.5 lakh crore was allocated to each state, which is interest-free long-term loans to support resource allocation. Now we will see sector-wise capex expenditure. So these are the major expenditures. As usual, defense has the highest in terms of expenditure. Then comes the rural development, agriculture, home affairs, educations, IT and telecom, health, energy, social affairs and commerce and industry. So agriculture, you can look up to agricultural stocks. There are multiple stocks related to it. Education and health. These are very basic pillar of any economy, any society, and these are generally long-term ROI investments. The government is also focusing on energy, on clean energy and renewable sector, which is going to give a good returns also in near future. So the first point is increase in the capital gain tax. So the short-term capital gain tax, which used to be around 15% earlier, now it has become 20%. The long-term capital gain tax, which used to be around 10% earlier, now it has become 12.5%. Also, please note that earlier the long-term capital gain tax, there was an exemption of around 1 lakh and now it has become 1.25 lakhs per year. Now this has changed the market sentiment into bearishness. Why? Because since the tax on this long-term and short-term capital gain has increased, more and more people, they will be attracted towards FD or other safer instruments. So the money which comes to the market, the stock market, that will slowly reduce. I'm not saying that will drastically reduce, but there will be a reduction in the flow of the money. Because if I am paying this much of tax, 20% on short term and 12.5% on capital gain long term tax, then it's better for me to switch to safer investments. On one hand, there is an increase in tax which will bring negativity in the market. On the other hand, this will help one current situation which all of the Indian banks are facing. So there is an ongoing debit crunch in the Indian banks. The complete sector is facing the same. RBI also acknowledged it. More and more people, they are not investing in the banks in terms of FD, savings account or current account. They are investing in the equities. So the banks are not getting proper deposits which can impact their business in the long term. Now, since the tax rates on the capital gains are increased, so it might be that some people, they will be switching to the safer investments like FD or savings account or RD like that. This will help the banking sector to solve the debit crunch which they are facing now. There are another points also. The angel tax that has been abolished. There is a reduction in the corporate tax for the foreign companies. So earlier the tax used to be around 40%. Now it has come down to 35%. So that will also help Indian economy in terms of other foreign companies will be attracted to India for lower tax, and they will be investing in India. Now the second major point is change in the income tax slabs. There is no change in the old tax regime. However, there has been a significant change in the new tax regime. So we'll discuss that. First of all, the standard deduction, which used to be 50,000 earlier, it has now become 75,000, and deduction on the family pensions for pensioners, it has increased from 15,000 to 25,000. Now let's see the tax rates. So from 0 to 3 lakhs, there is no tax. Earlier also it was same. From 3 to 7 lakhs, there is a tax of 5%. Earlier it was 3 to 6 lakhs and the tax was 5%. From 7 to 10 lakhs, there is a tax of 10%, and from 10 to 10 lakhs, there is a tax of 15%. Earlier, it was 3 to 6 lakhs, it was 5%, 6 to 9 lakhs, it was 10%, and 9 to 12 lakhs, it was 15%. So there you can see a change. 12 to 15 lakhs, earlier also it was 20%, now also it is 20%. And more than 15 lakhs, earlier also it was 30%, now also it is 30%. So with all these changes, a salaried employee is expected to save tax around 17,500 rupees per year. Now whether this is good or bad for the stock market. So first thing is, if the retailers, they have more money in their hand, either they will spend on consumption or they will save, right? So if they are spending on consumption, the company's profit will grow and the economy will grow. So that has a good impact on the stock market. On the second hand, if they are saving the money and they invest in the equities or the stock markets or anywhere, that will also boost the economy and stock market. So there is another small change in the securities transaction tax. So this graph shows the earlier tax and current tax. Now for the Yuva or the youth, this budget has a lot of schemes for job creation, internship opportunities, and for the new employees. Here we can see for employment and skill development, government have announced 3 schemes. The first scheme is for first timers, there is a 1-month wage to new entrants in formal sectors, and this is expected to benefit around 2.1 crore youth. Scheme B is job creation in manufacturing. So this is also linked to first time employees. In this scheme, there will be incentives for both employee as well as employer for EPFO contribution in the specified scales for the first 4 years. And this is expected that around 30 lakhs youths will be benefited from this. The scheme C is to support employers. Here the government will reimburse EPFO contributions of the employers up to 3,000 per month for 2 years. And this is applicable for all new hires. So what happens in EPFO? There is a one employee contribution and there is another employer contribution. So the employer contribution, it will be reimbursed up to rupees 3,000 per month for 2 years, and this is expected to generate around 50 lakhs of new jobs. There is a skill development program also where 20 lakhs youths will be skilled over a period of 5 years. 1,000 industrial training institutes will be upgraded in hub, and many more. There is a support from government for students loans also. There is financial support for loans up to 10 lakhs for higher education in domestic institutions, and annual interest will be very much nominal, around 3% per year. Also there is internship opportunities under PM's package 5th scheme. The scheme says in the top 500 companies of India, in next 5 years, around 1 crore youths will be provided internship, and the allowances of 5,000 rupees per month will be provided to them, along with one-time assistance of 6,000 rupees. These 6,000 rupees will be through CSR funds of companies. Now those who are from corporate sectors, they know how difficult it is to get a job for the freshers. Companies, they require experienced employees, and the freshers with no experience struggles a lot in the corporate world. Now this internship opportunity, it will help the freshers to gain experience for around 12 months, and post which, based on the experience, they can get new jobs. So the number of internship opportunities is around 1 crore in 5 years, which is around 20 lakhs per year. In 20 lakhs, I would say if 50% also gets a job, then it's a huge boost to the economy as well as stock market, because people will earn more, they will invest more, they will consume more, and thus boost the economy, stock market, and companies' profitability. This is a very long-term vision on which government has focused on. The current job crisis will be addressed by these internship opportunities, and lakhs of youths will be benefited from this. Now, if we summarize the points, there are good things which can boost the economy, which can boost the stock market. For example, reduction in income tax, slabs. Then we have job creation and internship opportunities. Then we have 11.1 lakh crore capex, which is going to give a boost to the economy. We have around 3 lakh crore for women development. These all things are going to give a boost to the economy as well as the stock market. Now there are certain points which are negative also. For example, hike in the LTCG, STCG tax, then hike in the STT or securities transaction tax. Due to this too, the stock market crashed around 1.5% today when these capital gain tax were announced, and after that the market recovered at around 1 p.m. still ended in lower only. Though the tax rates are very much higher, for STGC it is around 20%, which is very high, and for long term capital gain it is around 12.5%, which has increased from 10%. This is going to give a negative impact in the stock market. However, there is another part also. In the banking industry, it is going to give a boost. Why? Because the deposit crunch which the banks are facing currently, that is going to be easen out by this revised taxation. So overall, the budget was good. It focused on the infrastructure, it focused on the women, it focused on rural development, job creation, green energy, and all other things required for the future. However, few points were negative for the investors, and there is a reason also why this capital gain tax were increased. There are a lot of tax cuts in income tax slabs, so that has to be recovered, right? If it is not recovered, then it is going to increase the fiscal deficit of India. So to keep the fiscal deficit below 5%, there has to be some other ways to recover tax. Currently, based on this budget, the fiscal deficit is going to be around 4.9% for the current year, which is more or less good only, but we have to see the actual number after the current year ends. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like the content, please do like, share and subscribe.